What's up, fellas? So today I'm going to be looking back to when I got my first ever credit card over 2.5 years ago, as well as looking up to just a couple weeks ago when I got my 13th ever credit card, to think about the lessons I learned from each of them. This way, hopefully you guys can avoid my mistakes and also learn crucial lessons from my credit card journey. If that sounds like a plan, sit back, grab a drink, and let's get started. So my first ever credit card was the Discover It card. And the most crucial thing I learned from having this card is to know the difference between your statement close date and your due date. I see questions all the time from beginners that are just trying to wrap their brains around these two dates. And I know the pain is real because I was the same exact way, making posts on Reddit just trying to figure this out. If you're one of these people, don't feel ashamed. Everyone goes through this phase, and I'll break it down for you real quick. The statement close date is the day your billing cycle ends. This is when you see an actual statement hit your account for the last month of purchases you made up until now. This is also when it'll show that you actually owe money. And that money will be due in around 20 to 25 days from now. And that day is the due date. So basically, you spend money on your card, your statement comes in after about a month, and then 20 to 25 days after your statement comes in is when your payment is due, which is the due date. You're welcome. Next up, the second credit card I got was the American Express Blue Cash Every Day. And the lesson I learned from this card is that multiple cards are better than one. You can interpret this statement in many ways, and I really mean it in every way. By having multiple cards, you increase your earnings because different cards had different categories with elevated multipliers. In my case, I was now earning 10% back on rotating categories and 2% on everything else with my Discover It in its first year, as well as earning 3% back on gas stations, groceries, and online shopping with the Blue Cash Every Day. So with just these two cards alone, you can already see the exponential earning potential with these multipliers. Another way to interpret this is the fact that now you have two credit cards on your credit. With just one card, you only have 12 on-time payments a year that report to your credit. But by adding a second credit card, you now have 24 on-time payments that report to your credit every single year, which will greatly increase your credit score. On top of that, you increase your total credit limit while also decreasing your utilization rate. All factors that will help you increase your credit score. The third credit card I got was the Chase Freedom Unlimited. And this card taught me the power of credit card points because I was now earning Chase Ultimate Reward points instead of cash back with this card. This piqued my interest and made me dive into the credit card points rabbit hole, and from this I discovered that by using your points in the right way, you could potentially double, triple, or even 10x the value of your points. This is what officially moved my way of thinking and credit card strategy away from cash back credit cards and more towards cards that earn flexible point currencies such as Chase and Amex. The fourth credit card I got was the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, and what I learned from this card is the power of business credit cards. And that's because business credit cards come with a lot of advantages over personal credit cards. First of which, they usually come with much higher sign-up bonuses with relatively low annual fees. They also don't report to your credit, which also means they don't count towards your 524 status. So by getting business credit cards, you can guardian your credit while also earning massive bonuses. And another thing that's great about business credit cards is you don't even need an LLC. If you're making income on the side or plan to from anything such as mowing lawns or selling things on Facebook Marketplace, you can easily get business credit cards under a sole proprietorship. The fifth card I got was none other than the Amex Gold card. And the lesson I learned from this card is to diversify your point ecosystems. And what I mean by this is that you shouldn't be earning all your points with just one bank, because this can lead to not only opportunity costs, but also the potential for you to lose all your points due to an account shutdown. Firstly, for example, say you're earning all your points with Chase Bank, you're missing out on every other bank sign-up bonuses and higher multipliers. Instead of spending to earn 3x on dining and 1.5x on everything else, you could get the American Express Gold card and earn upwards of 100,000 points for that same spend just for signing up for a card. Also, if you only earn points with one bank, what happens if your account gets shut down for any reason? Well, you now have no credit card points to show for all of that work, versus if you had points with Chase, Amex, Capital One, and Citi, you'll obviously be severely butthurt if you get shut down from one of those banks, but you'll be way less butthurt since you have all those points with those different banks as well. Next up is the sixth credit card I got, and that would be the American Express Blue Business Plus. This card taught me the magic of American Express business cards. And that's due to the fact that once you have a personal card with Amex, every other card you get with them, personal or business, you won't get a hard pull. So not only will the card not report to your credit, but you won't even get a hard inquiry for applying, making this what some people call a ghost application and a ghost card. And this goes for any Amex business card, which is why I now have 3 of them, 2 of which I'll go over later in this video. My 7th ever credit card is the Chase Freedom Flex, and the lesson I learned from this card is don't spend money on things just because you earn 5x points on that category. It's just ridiculous. But it's a trap I found myself falling into. Ooh, I earned 5x points on dining this quarter. I'm gonna go treat myself to some Wendy's. Well, before, I probably wouldn't have even gone. And I see this a lot with my friends or just people online. It's almost a mental trick that the banks are playing on us to incentivize more spending on their cards. You just have to make sure that you're being conscious on the things that you're spending your money on, and in turn, realize the fact that the 50 cents you earn from that $10 burrito isn't worth it if you normally wouldn't get the burrito in the first place. If you do this, you'll be losing $9.50 instead of earning 50 cents of cash back. So just keep that in mind. The 8th credit card I got was another Chase Inc. Unlimited, and with this card I learned maybe one of the most important lessons in this video, and that lesson is to not be fooled by 0% intro APR periods. Yes, they're nice to have in emergency situations, but I'm gonna be really honest right now. Last summer I dug myself into a pretty big hole, spending over $1,500 on this card without having the money to pay for it. Instead of saving up for the item I wanted, I straight up just bought it on this card and said F it. Luckily, I was able to pay it off by the end of the summer, but it could have been so much worse. If for some reason I couldn't pay it down by the time the 0% intro APR expired, I'd have to pay for all of the interest I would have paid from that entire period. It just really sucked that instead of being able to save my money towards my future or put it into my Roth IRA, I had to put all of my money towards paying down this card. I mean, I guess it was a good way to ingrain it into my brain to never put purchases on a credit card that you don't have the money to pay off right away. But hopefully from my mistake, you can learn not to do this in the first place and just to be patient, because it really can become crippling if you let it go. You're much better off just saving for the item and then buying it. The 9th credit card I got was the American Express Business Prime card. And the lesson I learned from this card is that you don't need to spend a lot of money to hit sign-up bonuses. In fact, there's a good amount of credit cards out there that offer sign-up bonuses without any minimum spend. For example, with this card, all you have to do is be approved, and then you'll automatically get an Amazon gift card, which can range from $100 to $200. Another example of this is the Barclays Aviator Red Card, where you can earn 70,000 American airline miles after your first purchase of any amount. So if you're a low spender, that doesn't mean you can't get a lot of credit cards and earn a lot of rewards. You just have to know the right cards to get that work for your situation. My 10th ever credit card was the Chase Inc. Cash card. And the lesson I learned from this card is that it's okay to put personal spend on a business card. There's enough data points online now to show that there aren't any penalties for doing so. And the reason why you'd want to even do this is the fact that some of these business cards simply have better earning multipliers than personal cards. For example, with this card, you can earn 5x points on streaming services, cable, phone plans, and even staples, if you know what I mean. Whereas you can't earn 5x on those categories with the personal Chase cards. Another great example is the American Express Blue Business Plus card, which earns 2x points on every dollar spent. There's a lot of people out there that use this as their personal catch-all card to earn 2x points on all of their miscellaneous spending. Shout out to John R. I even did this myself for most of 2024. But speaking of earning 2x on everything, the 11th credit card I got is the Capital One Venture X card. And this card taught me to be intentional with the cards you're applying for. If you just apply for the cards with the shiniest welcome offers out there without thinking of any of the bank's rules, you'll ultimately find that you're getting denied for cards. For example, Capital One with the Venture X card is known for being stingy with its approvals. Even though when I applied for this card, I already had 10 credit cards, the reason I got approved is because Capital One could only see that I had 5 credit cards because business cards don't show on your credit report. And they also saw that the last personal card I got was over 6 months ago. If I instead applied for all personal cards and had 12 of them on my credit, the last one in which I got a month ago, I probably would have been denied for this card. So that's why it's so important to have a plan before just running and gunning. That way you can actually get the cards you want when you want. The 12th credit card I got was the American Express Business Gold card. And the lesson I learned from this card is to be creative when hitting minimum spends. I got this card when it had an offer of 200,000 membership reward points after spending $10,000 in the first 3 months. And speaking truthfully, I didn't really know how I was going to hit the bonus. But I figured let that just be a problem for the future, as this was really a rare bonus to find. Now obviously, you shouldn't overspend just to hit a welcome offer, but instead, you should be creative. In my case, I'm a 21-year-old college student that spends around $1,000 a month. So how does someone in my position find a way to put an additional $7,000 onto my card in 3 months? Well, I'll tell you. So firstly, I asked my parents and sister to put their bills on my card and for them just to pay me back. I also put my tuition on my card. I put my card down when going out to eat with friends and had them pay me back. And finally, I knew that me and my friends were going to Disney this summer, and I was the one that was going to be booking the flights. So I was able to put like 6 of my friends' flights on my card and have them just pay me back. So with all that together, I was actually able to hit that $10,000 spend in just over 2 months. That really shouldn't be possible for me, but it was. And it can be for you too. You just have to think outside the box if you really want to hit these high bonuses. And lastly, my 13th and most recent credit card I got is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. And what I've already learned from this card is to be aware of all the credits and benefits that come with the card. For the longest time, I always thought that the Sapphire Preferred was just a $95 card that has a mediocre $50 hotel credit that I probably never use, so I'm paying $95 for the ability to transfer to transfer partners, which I'd be okay with. But looking deeper into this card's credits and benefits, I found that it also has a $10 a month DoorDash credit that's actually more useful than I thought it'd be. It's advertised as a non-restaurant credit, but I'm able to just use it at Wawa, which I go to all the time, and the icing on the cake is the prices don't even seem to be marked up. So I'm able to use this credit similar to the Amex Gold's Grubhub credit and do a DoorDash pickup order. So instead of paying $95 a year to hold this card, you can get $120 of DoorDash credits as well as a $50 hotel credit, making this card pay you every year to hold it. And this also applies to a lot of other credit cards as well. There's so many hidden credits and benefits on each one, and if you have a credit card, you should really look into everything it offers, because you could be leaving some easy money on the table. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you were able to learn some lessons from my mistakes and experience in having 13 credit cards. Comment down below if you learned something, or if you just want to share some other lessons you learned in your own journey. If you guys want to apply for any of these cards, I have links in the description below where you can apply, and I thank you guys in advance, as it's one of the best ways to help support the free content on this channel. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed the video, because just like credit card points, it's free. Apparently only 10% of you guys are subscribed, so let's try and get that number up a bit. If you want to see me compare the rumored Chase Sapphire Reserve changes to the Amex Platinum, consider watching this video next. Also, YouTube thinks you'll like this one. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you all in the next one.